Hi everyone, this is Sasha Wolf from Still I Run. We have something super exciting to talk about today, and that is the Route 48 Mental Health Challenge / project with these wonderful individuals who are joining me today. Before we get into what the Route 48 project is, I would love for our friends here to introduce themselves. So let's start off with Nico first.
Nico Mello here, ex-soccer player at UNC and currently living in Florida. And then I have here David next to me, who's going to introduce himself.
Hi guys, I'm David October. I'm also ex-UNC soccer and now living in New York City, originally from England. And then Drew, do you want to go?
Yeah, and I'm Drew Peterson. I was a UNC track and field athlete and now living in Raleigh.
And I'm Alex. I'm born and raised in Vancouver, Canada, ex-UNC men's soccer player and also ex-professional soccer player for North Carolina FC.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for your intros. So now that we've done that, can one of you explain what Route 48 for mental health is? Why are we talking today?
I can take that, Sasha. So really, it's a charity event we created. A group of best friends and ex-athletes who wanted to raise awareness for mental health. So really, it's this amazing event we put together to kind of fight the stigma and raise awareness for mental health is the big picture.
And then what is it exactly? Why did you name it Route 48? Like, what does this challenge involve exactly?
You wanna David?
Yeah, so basically it started off with Nico and I sort of just wanting to complete the David Goggins challenge together, which if any of you guys don't know is the 4x4x48 challenge. It starts off by you run 4 miles every 4 hours over the course of 48 hours. And as we started sort of planning when and where we wanted to do this challenge, we thought it would be a really good opportunity to sort of invite some friends and get a good group together and do it for a cause that we all care about. So we started having lots of discussions about what that would entail and what kind of cause we want to do it for. And we when we came up with the idea of doing it in multiple locations, that was when we gave our main man Drew a call here, who's done a few bus renovations in the past, very, very skilled at that. And so we asked him sort of, how, when we sort of talked about the ideas, we asked him what would be the best way of executing it. And then we came up with the idea of renovating a bus and putting some bunk beds in the back and basically just, creating a vehicle for us to be our mobile headquarters for the run. So that's kind of how it came about. And again, lots of us have sort of community got a strong appreciation for mental health, and we've been having sort of discussions around that, and we saw it as a charity that we all really wanted to do it for. So
and the name actually came about just because it's relevant. We're running 48 miles in 48 hours and also driving, so we felt Route 48 would be a great name to kind of tie both the driving and the actual challenge together. So we thought that was a pretty special name to give for this event.
So where are you starting from and where do you plan on ending?
So we're actually starting in Salt Lake. So a couple of the guys already are out here. We have some more. We have, 7 or 8 more coming in today. They're actually probably on planes right now as we speak. And so we're starting in Salt Lake and making our way down Utah, eastern Utah. Then we go down through southern Utah and kind of culminating it and ending in Santa Monica, Los Angeles. So pretty excited. We have some amazing stops along the way. So it's going to be a really scenic and beautiful route for us and experience.
So here's a question for Andrew. Are all of you sleeping on the bus together while one person runs? Like, how does this work exactly?
Yeah, so we built the bus out. Basically, the back half of the bus has 12 beds. And so it's a big just big bed area, kind of the barracks, if you will. Then in the middle of the bus, separating the front from the back, we have a shower with hot water, and then we have a toilet on the other side. And so that kind of makes a divider from the front and the back. So the back's kind of going to be more for quiet area for sleep or just resting. And then the front area is more of a hangout space. So we built out basically 2 big couches that kind of face each other. So it's a hangout area, stretching area, just an area to get excited and pumped up before our runs. And so we're all going to run together at the same time. We're all going to keep the same pace. We're all going to do the challenge together and hopefully help each other through it, because it's going to be tough. So yeah, we're doing it all together. We actually got 2 drivers to come out and drive, so they'll kind of thought it'd be safer if the runners weren't driving by the end of I don't know, 36 to 48 miles with little sleep. So we have 2 drivers, and so they'll rotate on and off while we're running and driving and going and traveling.
All right, and you guys are all doing this in the name of mental health, and specifically raising money for Still I Run in the process, which thank you so much. We are absolutely appreciative of everything you guys have been doing. Why run for mental health? Why Still I Run? What led you to this connection?
Yeah, it's a fantastic question. I mean, obviously, it's an extremely relevant topic at the moment with all the challenges everyone's incorporating from the pandemic. But particularly, there are many barriers, and particularly emotional barriers, that makes communications around mental health very difficult, and especially in the kind of elite sporting world. And so many of us doing this challenge actually used to be in the elite sports world in some capacity. And it actually took leaving the sporting world for many of us to really gain an appreciation for how much of a positive impact sport was having on our mental health, and particularly running for some of us. And so since leaving the sporting world, a lot of us have become strong advocates for sport for our mental health, and particularly running has helped a lot of us really transition out of the sport that we were playing. And for a few of us it was soccer, for a few of us it was track. So from both a mental and physical standpoint, it's been key in that transition. So when all that being said, when we came across Still I Run, we were like, wow, Sasha and her team literally, they're completely on the same page as us, and it was amazing to find an organization that's created a successful support system that involves sport to help people with mental health issues. So thanks you guys for being really inspiring and inspiring many of us, and all the work you do for people suffering from mental health issues. So it's really awesome.
So one thing I really appreciate about this challenge is there's a lot of men in it, and talking about mental health as a male is sometimes pretty difficult. I would say the Still I Run community is a lot of women. Alex, I'm going to throw this question at you. Like, why do you think it's important as a male to talk about mental health and bring awareness to mental health issues, especially through a challenge like this?
Well, yeah, because traditionally, males are supposed to be strong, supposed to be, get on with it, this type of go-getter mentality. I don't talk about, the pains I have physically, and I especially don't talk about the pains I have mentally. And, David mentioned transitioning out of soccer. That hits home with me. I just transitioned out of professional sports 2 months ago. So it's been a challenge. I've had to really search deep, ask myself very difficult questions about, who I am, what I want to do next. I've devoted so much of my life really since I was 9 years old to be this ultimate professional athlete. And you can kind of get caught up in that type of, this is my identity type of thoughts. And that can be a problem. So in those moments, I've relied heavily on my family, on my best friends, some of them that are going to be here on this trip, So yeah, it just means a lot to be able to have a platform to speak about it. Whether or not you want to speak about it, totally up to you, but just to have that option, I feel like can be the difference between going to a darker place and getting through just day by day. You always have to be looking for something to get you through.
I love that. I feel like that is pertinent for a lot of people who may find themselves in a new life situation. Andrew, for you, like, why are you personally connected to this challenge to raising money for mental health awareness?
Yeah. Personally for me, I've seen, I love the Still I Run charity and foundation because I've seen in my life the way that sport impacts people through mental illness, through cancer, um, through multiple things. And I've just seen how sport really really carries people through and provides so many positive benefits both mentally and physically. That once I found out, once we heard about Still I Run, just got super excited. I guess that's the big thing for me. Just I love how it ties in sport and gets people moving, and gets people just excited about kind of where they're headed, if you will.
Love it. And Nico and Andrew, I mean, or Nico and David, how would you answer that question? Why mental health? Why is this personal for you?
Want to go first, David?
Yeah. So again, similarly to Alex, it was a few years ago that I transitioned out of football. But again, was even though I had a new idea of where I wanted to take my career, and I had a new angle and new challenges that were outside of the game. I very quickly, well, actually, it took me quite a while to realize that without having the support system that was sport in my life, I went into some dark places, and I realized that some of the things that were that I could take on and tackle when I had sport in my life as a support system, I wasn't able to tackle them in the same way. And I took up running as a form of to sort of create that structure back in my life, and that was about a year ago now, and it's just completely night and day different in my outlook upon even doing daily tasks and stuff. It's just I'm a much happier person, and again, I would say that a lot of people would describe me as like bubbly and happy all the time, but again, I think that's something that's really important about why we're all doing this, is because there are times when I've been unhappy and I've not been as strong as maybe you look from the outside and mentally. So I think that's kind of like a really important message that we all really care about giving across, and it's okay to talk about. And that's something that has, running in particular has helped me transition, and over the last year it's helped me a lot, both physically and mentally. So again, that's why I have a very, very personal appreciation for what you guys are doing at Still I Run.
Yeah, and for me, I know the guys on here have talked about the transition out of sport, but the reason it hits home for me is actually during our careers. At least I know for me personally, there were periods, and like Alex said, it was our identity and it was our life, from such a young age. And so there were periods throughout the time in our careers where I was struggling with mental health because things weren't going my way. The pressures of competitive athletic sports, once you get to like a very in general, but when you get to a very elite level, the pressures amount more. And I know that I struggled a lot at certain times because of it, with that pressure, and hit some pretty low points in my life, and I wasn't comfortable sharing with many people, which was an issue, and that's why Still I Run, I think, is so amazing to us. One of the few avenues and ways to get out of it was and breathe and kind of relax again was actually running for me. There was I could just go on a run and not have to be great at running. It's just like I can go at a 30-mile pace, and it's like, that's okay, and that's totally fine. You don't have to be good at it. And that was kind of a way to relax and regroup and balance myself out, even during, my career. And so, Still I Run definitely hits home for me in that sense, and I know a lot of people and friends in professional sports who are actually, still in it and struggling mentally as well, and trying to figure out their identity and what's next, after they're done. So that's kind of why mental health is so important to us.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's a good point. And I think it's interesting to hear everyone's background, because it really does show that mental health issues, whether it's an illness, a condition, or just not feeling well, it doesn't discriminate. It can literally hit anyone. As everyone may have noticed, we have another member who has joined us here, Luke. Hello, Luke. Welcome to our chat about Route 48.
Sorry I'm late, y'all, but you guys got a great group right here on the call, so I'm sure they did it justice.
Well, I'm going to have you jump right in here and answer the same question I just had everyone else answer. And that is, why are you participating in this? Like, what is your personal connection to mental health?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm worked over at Nike in Portland, and kind of just over the past year with COVID and just seeing what we see at Nike in terms of inspiring athletes. I've really focused in on kids specifically, and kind of looking at how kids grow up in this world and what sport gives to them. I've just seen the burnout of kids. Typically, like once you reach the end of what we consider the play phase, which is up to 10, right? Like once you get past that play phase and you actually get the sport, it just becomes more and more competitive, and the focus is more on winning rather than just having fun and rather than just play. So really, like, why I wanted to get started with this group is, one, I think the ideas of one community, the group of people that we have around the activity of actually running, and then the environment of like where we actually run in, are three like aspects that I think are massive pieces of sport that make it fun and make it enjoyable, and that take away from some of the mental health pieces that really kind of just cause negative consequences on kids' lives as they kind of grow up. Because if we can really start to have that conversation at a young age in terms of how do we kind of get over those barriers, then we can really start to address what's going on now.
Absolutely. I love that you brought up kids, because I feel like when I was a kid, and I don't know about you guys, but mental health really wasn't talked about. And if we equip them with these conversations earlier, they're going to be so much better off. I don't know how much of my backstory you know, but I was hospitalized for depression and anxiety 10 years ago. And I literally did not talk about it for years. And that is such a lonely place to be in. So one of the reasons why we started Still I Run was to create that conversation, but you guys adding your voices to this conversation is absolutely huge. I mean, you never know who's watching this and who you're inspiring right now. So I'm just completely thankful for all of you here on this call, and for taking this challenge on. To kind of switch gears a little bit, I don't care who answers, but like, what is your biggest fear over the next couple of days? Because you start tomorrow or the next day, correct?
Yeah, we actually start tomorrow at 11 p.m. is when we start. So we're all kind of, you can tell in the group there's kind of this weird anxiousness that everyone has, right? We're all like so eager to get ready to start running. We were actually talking about it earlier. I was like, I just can't wait to start running.
Nico's been doing laps at the coffee shop.
I literally have been walking around the coffee shop. I can't stay still right now. But yeah, I mean, there's so many fears, at least for myself, and I think I can speak for the group here. Even before like actually starting the challenge, there were so many fears to this whole project, which is why we decided to do this, right? I think an important thing that this group and that makes this group so special is that we want to put ourselves in uncomfortable positions. Like for example, building a bus. It was always been a dream of mine, but I had no idea what it entailed. And luckily we had, Drew, the bus guru, with us, which was amazing to kind of lead us there. But like that was a whole, different challenge that I had no idea what entailed. And then, also driving across the country on a bus and driving the bus for the first time. I was so nervous to like even get behind the steering wheel, which is, I'll never forget that moment. And then, during the run, it's just pushing our bodies to limits that we've never pushed them before. So that's definitely nerve wracking. But at the end of the day, you know, we know that we're going to learn a lot about ourselves. And more importantly, as a collective unit, we're going to kind of get closer and learn more about our friendship than ever, going through something so difficult together. And so that's something that's super important. And tying it back to mental health, you know, we feel that like having this a community and an environment where you feel supported and heard is critical to kind of getting through the difficult times in your life. So, and then, you know, tying it to running, you know, us being ex-athletes, we feel that it's, you know, it's pivotal to have physical, you know, activity in your life to help you get through those moments as well. So, I mean, for me, there's just some challenges that we've been scared about, but we've been doing so far, and we're still scared. You know,
but we're going to crush it.
But we're going to do unbelievable. And the best part is we have each other. You know, there are going to be moments where I'm going to be in a dark place, and David's going to be like, "Come on, we got this," you know, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to have each other's back, which is why it's so important for us to do this together. And we want to kind of promote that no one's, you know, it's not a race. It's us together as a team.
I think this has been a cool experience because there are so many things that could go wrong and could break, or things that are just uncomfortable. It's a playground for fear and things to kind of to creep at you and make you feel like question yourself and say, am I good enough to do this? But it's been really cool because at the end of the day, we all want to complete this challenge, but at the end of the day, if the bus breaks down and we all cramp up and none of us finish the run, worst case scenario, we still go on with our life. It is still a fun memory. So it's been cool to kind of put it into perspective of these are things that we're scared about and we're nervous. We don't know, like, there's so many things that could go wrong. But at the end of the day, it's still going to be an awesome experience. And so for me, it's been cool to kind of put the fears that I have into perspective. And then for me, that kind of alleviates a lot of the fears, if that makes sense. So it's just been a cool thing mentally for me, that to battle fears.
Alex, what is your greatest fear with this challenge over the next couple days?
You know, a lot's been said. Is the bus going to get there? Are we going to get there? Who's going to eat all the snacks? That's another big one. But yeah, these are moments of uncertainty. I feel like that is fear for me, is moments of uncertainty. And that's when I start feeling a little bit anxious. But you have to lean into it. You have to lean into it. There's no other way around it. And to lean into it with a group like this, you know, we'll be fine. Just like Drew said, worst case scenario, bus breaks down. We all have to maybe jog lightly around the block a few times for 48 hours. We'll do that, no problem. It's about creating stories and finding meaning. You know, life is difficult. But when you search for a meaning that can help you overcome those difficulties, it's all worth it in the end.
Love it. And then Luke, what about you? What is your biggest fear aside from maybe running out of snacks? Because I think you pointed to yourself that you
That's me. I'm gonna be big on that. I'm gonna need that, especially it's just it'll be fun. I mean, I'm coming in slightly injured, so I'm definitely a little bit fearful of getting injured again and you know, not being able to finish run with these guys. But I think what everyone on this kind of call has illustrated is this idea of like, what are your problems? Like, you're gonna go through life, and everyone in life is gonna have problems, right? Like, and it's just the problems that you focus on, and what are the specific problems that we're focusing on. And I think for all of us, my biggest fear is that like we won't make as big of an impact as I want to, right? Which I think is the greatest. We can kind of elevate what our problems are to higher and higher thinking, right? Up the line, because it can go from, hey, I'm worried about, can I finish this run, to I'm worried about, hey, am I making an impact on people's lives? So that's kind of the way I'm thinking about it, is the more and more I can get out of this idea of thinking that this problem is unique to me, in that I'm running this challenge. I chose to run this challenge. The problem is more this mental health crisis.
Yeah, I think those are all really good points. And I mean, you've kind of answered my next question, but just to ask it in a different context, Nico, we'll start with you. When all is said and done, what do you hope to take away from this experience? What do you hope that people watching your journey take away from this?
Well, for me personally, I think something that's meaningful to me in terms of and down to my core is doing things for others and doing stuff for others. And so, you know, putting myself in this position, making myself uncomfortable for others, I think is something that is going to be really special to me and a memory. You know, being able to do that for somebody else and raise awareness, you know, and raise funds for Still I Run in this case, for you guys to be able to help others is going to be so memorable to me. It's so important. So that's something I'm really excited and I've already, you know, I already am so appreciative of everything we've done so far. And just to see where we go with this is it's pretty exciting.
David?
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway for me is I'd love for as many people as possible to gain an appreciation for what sport can do for one's holistic health, and in particularly their mental health. So I think that's kind of like the overarching message from mine.
And Alex, what do you hope to personally walk away with from this challenge?
Yeah, similar to David from the sports aspect, but there's also, like Nico said as well, building this community from an idea. Like Nico had this idea, and the fact that the bus is right here, this is a reality, we're all here, is pretty mind-blowing and inspirational. And just getting DMs, just getting all those donations in. I think Nico got a DM the other day of a girl who had someone close to her take her own life, and she said just how happy she was that we were taking on this challenge and raising money and just trying to end the stigma. It's a problem, and COVID's made it all worse, to be quite honest. The rates are on the rise. I have 4 younger siblings, and one of my life goals is to be the best big brother I can possibly be for them, and you know, make sure that they understand that it's okay to talk about these things. So that's more of a personal measure of success as well.
You're one of the best big brothers I've ever seen in my life, Alex, just to let you know.
Thank you, my man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I love this. I mean, I think this conversation right here and what you guys are doing, definitely defeating the stigma. I have 2 kids and 1 on the way, and like that is what fuels me to make the world a better place for them should they have a mental health condition someday. So definitely everything everyone said so far resonates with me. Luke, for you, what is your personal takeaway? What are you hoping to walk away with, other than, you know, having the 4x4 by 48 challenge underneath your belt?
For sure. Yeah. I think we've already made the impact that I really wanted to create. I came into this saying I want to just, you know, make an impact on one person's life, and change them for the better. And I think I've walked away from this like having impacted more than that. So I think I've already won in that sense. But I would say the group on the bus, I'm just excited to get in and really speak to them, because like I don't think from a male side of things, like we don't do that enough, is have these conversations around mental health, like just openness with each other. And it's always kind of perceived as, hey, you need to be stronger, you need to be kind of more masculine in that space. And so I'm excited just to kind of make an impact with these guys and hopefully just get into a deeper conversation around like really where have you like come from in order to get here now, and how can we kind of further that.
48 hours on a really tight bus to do that. So we'll definitely be having a lot of conversations.
Yeah, they're not gonna like me by the end of this trip for sure.
Drew, for you, same question. What are you hoping to walk away with here?
Yeah, I guess so. Personally, I like the idea of it. David Goggins kind of challenges people to do this challenge. To build, he calls it mental calluses. And so basically doing something that you can look back on, and when you're having those down moments, saying like, I did this, I did something hard before, I can get through this in the future. Whatever you're going, whatever I'd be hitting in the future that's kind of holding me back, and just being able to look back and say, I have these calluses, I've been here, I've been in tough situations, and I can get through this. So that's, I guess, personally why I was so excited to do this challenge. On a more kind of outward perspective, I think it's showing friends and family that it's okay to take big risks, and it's okay to really test yourself, because it gives you the opportunity when you're down the road, when you're in a tough spot, to look back and kind of have some positive self-talk, and really be able to coach yourself through future problems. So that's kind of my thing. Why I was super excited to do it, is to build mental calluses and kind of show others and the need and the kind of the purpose and how it helps you down the road.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you guys are leaving tomorrow. If someone wants to keep up with your journey, where would they find you online? Oops, say that again.
Yeah, Nico, you taking this one, or you want me to take it? We lost you in the audio. Yeah, so I mean, we've been kind of live on at official Route 48, kind of throughout the journey. We're actually having someone from a content side come along with us, Sam, who's kind of done a number of these runs. He's actually run across the United States completely, and has done a whole documentary on that. So we're super excited to have him along the journey. But he's going to be kind of doing our filming and our content, and we're also going to be posting just natively from our channels as well. So follow along. We're happy to have anyone join us virtually, as well as socially distant. So really excited to kind of see the support.
Awesome. And the whole Still I Run community is behind you as well. We'll also be posting about it on our social media channels. And hopefully everyone will enjoy the behind the scenes stuff that you guys will have going on in your journey. Again, I'm just so appreciative that you guys found us and that you're raising money for Still I Run, and more importantly, like breaking down the stigma for people with a mental health condition. And as I said much earlier in this interview, so appreciative to hear about this from a male perspective, because so many of our community is female. So I absolutely love it. You guys are breaking barriers in so many different ways. So thanks again. Pleasure talking to all of you, and I wish you the best of luck tomorrow.
You can hear me. Thank you so much for having us and just even working with us and making this possible. You and your team have been unbelievable, and we're so incredibly thankful for creating this platform for us to kind of do this and feel like we're helping others. So thank you so much, and your team, for everything.
Yeah, thanks very much. We all appreciate it.
Thank you.
Massive thank you.
Big thank you.